I'm one of the few people that will tell you that I don't mind greediness. I think greediness in a way has made us better as a society and has grown our society in a whole.
The point is, ladies and gentlemen, that greed, for lack of a better word, is good.
What I do mind is when greed is unchecked and used for the wrong reasons. For example, greediness to only want to self-fulfill yourself for yourself and only for yourself is greed that I can't really stand. But greed that I can get behind of is I want all the money and an unlimited amount of money to myself so I can grow everything around me. That I can get behind. But unfortunately, gaming has become greed unchecked. The greed that only wants to make money no matter how much it takes from its consumers and not even looking out for them at all. Gaming has become more of a chore for me this ninth generation, and it doesn't feel like games are fun because every other moment a game is not trying to be fun or be a worthwhile experience, but instead kind of show you how flashy the game is, right? Let me give you an example of a game that's like that. Horizon Forbidden West is probably one of my favorite games of that year, and it was a great game, but I can understand why people didn't make it its game of the year. Its story was a little bit weaker than the first game. It was basically retconning the game, but there's no doubt that everybody said this game is a technical achievement and it looks amazing. And people wonder why it didn't get a gaming award is because the world felt empty. It really didn't feel like you could do anything in that game. Now compared to a game like Red Dead Redemption 2 that has a vast open world that makes you want to explore and make you look at its environment with random events, and its world really does feel alive. And there's a difference, is that this generation of gaming feels like either A, I want to play a game, but in order for me to play it, I have to pay $120 in order for me to get the full experience with the season pass. It doesn't feel like it's actually taking us seriously, but instead making us look like a bunch of people that they can leech their money off of in order to appease their shareholders. And it's kind of obvious that they're doing this. It's not even a secret that they do this. This is out in the open. They are literally greedy to a point where the game's fun, and whether or not that they're making this game to please gamers doesn't really feel like it's in the forefront this generation. Last generation, yes, it started towards the end of the generation where you started to feel that, you started to see what was happening. But at the same time, I felt very satisfied with the PS4 generation. I felt like I had a lot of experiences that I think that I couldn't have had any other generation in that gaming year, and it was fun, and I felt like my money was well spent. But anytime I spend money this generation, it honestly feels like I am rolling the dice on whether or not this company actually thought of me while making this game. Because I don't think developers understand, and I don't think it's developers, I more think that it's gaming companies don't understand that a fun game is all we're looking for, guys. Like if you build a community, you build a fun game, you build a story that is impactful. It doesn't even have to have a story. If it's fun, we'll play that game. But at the same time, it doesn't feel like many studios actually give a shit whether or not they're doing that or not. There's very few studios in my mind right now that I would give the benefit of the doubt that, okay, we're going to think about the player and how they're going to perceive this scene, how fun this is going to be. Larian Studios is probably one of them that I would actually believe that they're making a game for gamers and for people that they want to have fun in order for them to make a large sum of money. For example, games selling at least 30 million copies and breaking all these records isn't enough for companies. Rockstar has made about $1 billion or $2 billion off of the Grand Theft Auto game alone. Just alone, they've made that much on that game. But it wasn't enough for 2K Studios because they had to monetize the shit of GTA Online in order to make an abundance of more profit and making $1 billion per quarter. It's not enough that these games make so much money because they cost more, but the fact that they need to extract every single penny from our pocket in order for them to appease the shareholders. And it kind of sucks because this generation just feels like it has so much potential. Like, wow, I like all the cool visuals that this generation is making with ray tracing, rasterization, and all the other sound stuff that they're doing with these games. It's really fun. It's really nice. And I, as the person who likes shinies, will attest to, I love that shit. But at the same time, it feels like there's more focus on trying to justify why these games cost so much and why they're also charging you more for season pass. It's like, well, we gotta make some money somehow. Look at the nice visuals that we put in this game, which leads to a game feeling vapid and empty half the time. Because when I play an open world game, most games are open world just for the sake of being open world. Like, we're in a point of time where Nintendo is like showing everybody else how to do it. While they've had their greedy moments, I will say, with ROM emulation, and also with the fact of their Animal Crossing controversy, where each Switch was an island that you could have, and if you wanted to make another island and a whole different account, you had to buy a whole Switch, which, yes, I understand that is extremely greedy, and their ROM situation is extremely greedy as well. While we can criticize Nintendo for rehashing and recycling their franchises for nostalgia, there's no doubt that those games are fun. Breath of the Wild is probably one of the most fun games of the past 15 years, and there's a reason for it, because they're actually taking the mind of their user base. Whether or not they take advantage of them or not, they actually do think about that player base. And also, on top of that, the studio that's showing everybody how to do it, and the two studios that I respect so much, is Larian Studios and Arrowhead Studios. They understand that monetization is earned. It's not something that you're given. It's not something that you're entitled to. It's something that's earned. If you want monetization, you have to build a community, and you have to convince people that this game is fun and worth playing. Baldur's Gate is a game that you pay $70 for one time, and you get everything in that game, and you get to keep it forever, and there's no DLC because they put everything they had in that game. Arrowhead Studios is a free-to-play game that you pay $50 for, and if you want, you can get a battle pass for it, but you can also earn a lot of in-game currency in order to buy those battle passes that also come with in-game currency that will make it to where you can buy more battle passes. But the reason why people were so ready to buy battle passes on Helldivers 2 is because of the fact that the game is actually fun. It's not something that I just pick up and it's like, whoa, this is like okay, like I don't want to play it anymore. Kind of like a lot of other free-to-play games do. It's actually fun. It's actually not very toxic for the most part. And you can tell that developers respect the people that they're playing. The Arrowhead Studio CEO came out and recently said that you can't just expect people to take your monetization and actually be monetized just because you release a game. Monetization is earned, and it should be earned. I think the only other example that I can give is God of War Ragnarok, that actually released the entire game, and when asked, is this game gonna have DLC? To which they said, no, we don't really do DLC because whatever we had planned and whatever we wanted to make is in the game, and that is what it's going to be. Is kind of rare, and then on top of that, to release a DLC completely for free just because they wanted to. And it's sad that those things are very rare in gaming nowadays. It's really a select few studios that do that, and it's kind of depressing. And I hope that the gaming industry understands that yes, greed can be good, but only when you take into account of everybody that you're affecting when you're trying to get infinite amount of money to people that you don't invest in on as well. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and if you enjoy this video, make sure you watch another video. It tells the algorithm you want other people to watch the video, and remember, you're pretty good.